the taste of chicken, and it's really quite simple to prepare as long as you start off with a basic fundamental of baking a chicken. Now, I have about between a 4 and a 5 pound roasting chicken here. It's a little closer to 5 pounds. And we're just going to do a couple of little things that's going to make a huge difference in the process of you baking a chicken. Now, this may sound fairly elementary to a lot of you out there who are comfortable in the kitchen and who can throw a chicken up into a pan and make it come out into this fabulous dinner. However, if you have kind of lost a little bit of that pizzazz and you really want to make it a lot more simple, you just want to kind of bring it in, or you've never really done it before on your own, this is how we're going to do it. We took a chicken out, and I went to a store and I bought a really good chicken. It's not organic, but it was free range, no antibiotics, no chemicals, no other stuff. Just a really good, healthy chicken. And most of the chickens that come from the store have been injected with saline. Now, saline is nothing more than salt water. So don't panic. A lot of times you'll hear chefs talk about we need to brine the meat to make it taste better, to make it bring out the flavor and make it juicy, and all of a sudden this magic brine is going to do all the magic stuff to this food that you don't have to worry about. Well, honestly, it's already done. It was brined from the inside out. Before this chicken was frozen, it was injected with a salt water brine, basically. So it's already had a chance to break up those proteins. Now, the other thing I want to do is make sure that the inside cavity is empty. Now, I've already pulled out a bag here, and that's the giblets. That's the neck and the heart and the gizzard. And a lot of people like to cook those up and eat them too. I like to put those in my freezer bag and make sure that they hit the stock pot, because when I make my chicken stock, that's the kind of stuff I want to get in there. Now, on the back of the chicken here, there's a couple of things. Now, that's just a big piece of fat, and here is another just piece of fat right here. I don't need all of that. I love roasting chicken on the bone because a lot of the flavor of the chicken comes from the skin, it comes from the fat, it comes from the bone, a lot of that flavor. So as soon as you start deleting all the flavor-giving ingredients to your breast, the bone, the skin, and the fat, you have this piece of meat that, yes, is not going to have a lot of flavor left in it. So the fact is on-bone chicken is less expensive, and this is so simple to prepare. Now, because I want to get this nice and brown on top, I'm heading over to my trusted paper towels. Okay, so all we're going to do is dry it off. And everybody does this. This is not nothing new. This is not my idea. This is not something you can go, oh, Jay Miles is so smart. It's not really that. The thing is if you want the chicken to brown, you want to have no moisture on it, because that'll be the first thing. The heat will attack that moisture and make that evaporate before it actually starts to brown this. Now, I have a little bit of salt here. It's about a teaspoon and a half. I'm sorry, just about a teaspoon and a half. And we're just going to rub that all over. I'm going to put it on the other side too. And because the inside is the inside, that's where the rest goes. And same thing, a little bit of black pepper, about the same amount. Right down into the center. And the last thing, anybody who knows me or who's ever met Lee or has eaten at our house, you already know what this last ingredient is. It is garlic powder. Now, I'm using garlic powder because it's already dried. I don't want to add more moisture, so fresh garlic would add more moisture. And roasted garlic would add a lot more fat to it. So now we have this. It's all seasoned, ready to go. I want to tuck the wings under the front of the chicken, just like this. And Some people like to tie their chickens up back here, but I don't really think that's necessary. Let me wash my hands real quick and then we'll put it in the pan. Okay, now there's one step that I like to do, and that is to get the chicken off the bottom of the pan just slightly, just raised a little bit up so it's not sitting on the bottom of the pan. And I also get to add another ingredient that I really like, which you've been sitting here looking at. I've got about 3 small onions. You don't need a lot. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take the onions, I'm going to cut them into 4s and just leave them as wedges. And I'm just going to put those wedges right down in the center of the pan. Now, when the chicken goes in, it kind of has little rats ready to go. All right. Now, as most people have said, the worst thing you can do to a chicken is overcook it. And I have to agree with them, because once you overcook it, you have made it. Sounds like Jackie has found a squirrel outside, so evidently he's going to join in today. By overcooking it, you're drying out the meat quite a bit. It's going to lose a lot of that flavor from the moisture in the juice. And if you undercook it, then it's just not healthy. So you really want to make sure that you stay on target. Now there are 2 things to make sure that you can pop this in the oven, even if you've never done it before, and make sure that you have a delicious, juicy, well done chicken. Very, very small turkey. No, this is a chicken. It's only about a 5 pound. We're going to say it as a 5 pound because it's just shy of 5 pounds. But this is the 2 things that you need to make it happen. A timer. You can get a kitchen timer, or you can use your microwave, or whatever you want, some kind of timer where you can set the timer so you can keep track of your cook time. And then there's this. This is a meat thermometer. These are incredibly inexpensive. And if you enjoy the roasted meat, if you enjoy chicken and pork, and you want to eat safely and healthy, and you don't want to have to cook everything up until it's a beef jerky kind of texture, get one of these. This is the magic tool for making it through a baked chicken, and I'm going to show you why. Because we're going to put this into a preheated oven. Now our oven is preheated at 325. It's going to bake for about 20 minutes per pound. And that's just a little over an hour. However, if you've watched any of my other episodes, you know that my oven is not quite as reliable as I would like. And maybe if you're in an older kitchen and using older appliances, you are not always carry a lot of faith in the ability of your oven doing its job. Then what we're going to do is we're going to show you a couple of test times. We're going to test it at 45 minutes. We're going to test it at an hour, and then we're going to decide at an hour if we need to test it again and how much time it is, and we'll look at the thermometer and we'll walk you through that. So now, middle rack, center of the oven, 325, and we'll see you in 45. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes. We're going to pull it out and give it its first test. Now what we're looking for is an internal temperature of 160. And let's turn this on. And we're going to go right down into the deepest part of the meat. And not quite. So this is the 45-minute mark. We'll let it go in another 15-20 minutes. Okay, it's now been an hour. So we're going to give it a test again. It doesn't look like it's quite done yet. You can just starting to see it's turning a little golden brown. We want a little bit more to it. So let's test the temperature. And again, we're going in right into the breast meat at the thickest part. And 130. It's not quite there yet. We have a little bit longer to go. And this is when you're really looking at it, especially if your oven isn't always running the same temperature that it should. So what we're going to do, my oven is running a little bit on the low side because it really should be done by now. So that means my oven is running a little cooler than it should. So that's why I wanted you to check yours. Yours might be done by now. Mine has a little bit longer to go. All right, the last few minutes have gone by. Nice hot oven. Let's pull it out. Oh, that looks perfect. We're going to do a couple of tests here. First, we're going to take its temperature. And we want this to be at 160. 163. Okay, that'll work. And I'm going to take a little cut right along the side of the leg here and make sure that the juice runs out clear. And it does. Now we're going to cover this and let it sit for about 20 minutes and then it'll be ready to eat. This has been covered for about 20-25 minutes. Kind of gave the chicken a chance to rest, absorb the juices back up into the meat. Now this is not quite as brown as some chickens because it didn't use any butter. If you use butter on your chicken, this is perfect. The juice is nice and clear. Those legs are going to be open. I'm almost slicing off a piece of this breast. If you use butter on your chicken, the milk solids will adhere to the chicken skin and get really, really brown. It kind of gives you that dark caramel color, toasted brown. But we're doing this a little healthier, a little bit easier to prepare. And also, I'm going to utilize this chicken, the bones, the skin, and everything else. After I get the meat off, I'm going to use this to make chicken stock. You can already see how juicy this meat is. Oh my gosh. Let's get that off. I'm going to have you come right down here and take a good look at this meat. Okay, you can just see how juicy this chicken is. It's so nice. Look how soft that is. That's perfect. Skin's a little crispy. Yeah. That's it. Just perfect. This is off the hook. Okay. So, very, very simple to prepare. It roasted at 325 for about an hour and 15 minutes. You know, if your stove runs a little bit warmer, you definitely want to check it. That last 10 to 15 minutes, we turned the oven up to 400. Got a little nice brown on the top. Very, really good and juicy. Now what I'm going to do is take all this chicken off the bone. I have the bone, the juice, the fat, and the skin all going into the freezer for my chicken stock next time I need it, along with the giblets, the neck, and the fat that I pulled off earlier. And then I've got dinner for tonight, chicken for tomorrow. I'm good for a couple of days. This is perfect. You're gonna love it. I'm gonna have more.